I knew it was close. I thought it was very close, too close. But I said, rather than say, no, I don't want to do that, I said, Sergio, where are you going to be?
James Garner was a man of many faces, yet his real story was often hidden behind the charming grin that made him one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. Known for his easygoing screen presence and natural charisma, Garner embodied the rare blend of rugged masculinity and approachable warmth. Audiences adored him, critics respected him, and his peers admired his quiet professionalism. Yet behind that cool, laid-back style was a man who overcame hardship, battled studio politics, and fought tirelessly to control his own destiny in an industry notorious for chewing up talent. For decades, he kept much of the truth to himself. But when Clint Eastwood, a fellow icon and contemporary, finally spoke openly about his longtime friend, the world gained a deeper appreciation for James Garner's resilience, talent, and unshakable integrity. This is the story of James Garner, told with the honesty and respect his remarkable life deserves. James Garner was born James Scott Bumgarner on April 7, 1928, in Norman, Oklahoma. His early years were marked not by privilege, but by hardship. He was the youngest of 3 boys, raised during the Great Depression by a family that struggled to make ends meet. When James was just 4 years old, tragedy struck with the death of his mother. His father, unable to cope with raising 3 boys on his own, eventually remarried. The relationship with his stepmother proved turbulent, leaving James with emotional scars that shaped his outlook on life. At just 14, Garner left home and drifted between odd jobs. He worked as a lifeguard, a model, and even a carpet layer before he was old enough to enlist. During World War II, still a teenager, he joined the Merchant Marines and later served in the United States Army during the Korean War. It was there he was awarded 2 Purple Hearts after being wounded in combat. These experiences forged a toughness and resilience that would become part of his screen persona. Unlike many actors who studied technique or immersed themselves in theater, Garner came to Hollywood with the authenticity of a man who had already lived a life of grit, pain, and survival. This background gave him an understated quality. He didn't need to overact or force emotion because he had already experienced it. His beginnings were modest, but they would lay the foundation for one of the most respected careers in entertainment. James Garner's entry into acting was almost accidental. After his military service, he drifted back to Los Angeles and took a series of jobs, one of which introduced him to theater work. He began as a line reader for actors at Warner Brothers, standing in for rehearsals rather than performing on camera. Yet casting directors and producers quickly noticed something rare. Garner had a natural ease, a magnetic presence, and an everyman charm that was impossible to ignore. In 1957, his breakthrough came with the television series Maverick. Playing Brett Maverick, a witty and unconventional gambler, Garner redefined what a Western hero could be. Unlike the stoic, gunslinging archetypes of the time, Maverick relied on charm, quick wit, and cleverness rather than brute force. Garner's portrayal was fresh, appealing, and instantly resonated with audiences. Maverick turned Garner into a household name. The show's success was not just about sharp writing or clever plots, it was about Garner himself. His timing, subtle expressions, and relaxed style created a character that viewers wanted to invite into their living rooms week after week. He wasn't intimidating or distant. He was the kind of hero who felt like a friend. This role propelled Garner into film work as well. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, he was appearing in movies like Darby's Rangers, 1958, and Cash McCall, 1960. But it was The Great Escape, 1963, where Garner cemented his film credentials, starring alongside Steve McQueen and Richard Attenborough, playing Hendley. The Scrounger, Garner showcased his ability to balance lighthearted charm with the serious tension of a war drama. The combination of Maverick and The Great Escape established Garner as both a television and film star, a dual success that few actors managed to achieve at the time. His breakthrough wasn't just luck. It was the arrival of a unique screen personality who would remain relevant for decades. Through the 1960s and 1970s, James Garner's career soared. He became a reliable leading man who could transition seamlessly between genres: westerns, romantic comedies, dramas, and action films. Unlike actors who were typecast, Garner managed to reinvent himself continuously while keeping his signature charm intact. In films like The Americanization of Emily, 1964, opposite Julie Andrews, he showed his ability to tackle intelligent romantic comedies blending humor with pointed social commentary. His performance was praised for its light touch, proving that he could hold his own alongside Hollywood's most talented actresses. By the late 1960s, Garner was starring in hits such as Grand Prix, 1966, a high-octane racing drama that displayed his versatility and willingness to step outside traditional roles. He became known for doing many of his own stunts, lending authenticity to his performances. Garner's television success continued as well. In 1974, he returned to the small screen, with The Rockford Files, perhaps his most beloved role after Maverick. As private investigator Jim Rockford, Garner perfected the anti-hero archetype. Rockford was witty, resourceful, and relatable, often preferring to talk his way out of a fight rather than use force. The show was groundbreaking, blending mystery with humor and human vulnerability. Garner's portrayal won him an Emmy and endeared him to a new generation of fans. What made Garner unique was his authenticity. Unlike other stars of the era who cultivated larger-than-life personas, Garner's characters always felt grounded in reality. He wasn't the toughest cowboy, the slickest detective, or the most heroic soldier. He was the relatable man who found himself in extraordinary situations and handled them with charm, wit, and quiet determination. This relatability made him a star who transcended Hollywood glamour. His fame wasn't about controversy or spectacle, it was about trust. Audiences trusted James Garner to deliver a performance that was entertaining, honest, and deeply human. His rise to fame was steady, built on credibility, talent, and a natural gift for storytelling. James Garner's career was not defined by one character or one medium. He was one of the rare actors who could navigate the changing tides of Hollywood with grace, diversifying his career in ways that kept him relevant for decades. In the film world, Garner proved his range with roles in everything from comedies to serious dramas. He starred in Support Your Local Sheriff, 1969, a satirical western that played to his strengths in humor and timing. He balanced this with serious turns in films like Marlowe, 1969, and Victor Victoria, 1982, showcasing a remarkable adaptability. Television, however, remained a cornerstone of his career. After the runaway success of The Rockford Files, Garner became synonymous with high-quality TV storytelling. His portrayal of Jim Rockford was not only iconic, but influential, setting the standard for private investigator shows for decades to come. The series combined action, humor, and heart in a way that mirrored Garner's personality. Tough when necessary, but always guided by wit and decency. Garner was also outspoken about fairness in the entertainment industry. He famously sued Warner Brothers for breach of contract during his Maverick years, a risky move that nearly ended his career. Yet his willingness to stand up for himself and his peers ultimately helped reshape how actors were treated in television contracts. Garner never shied away from defending his rights, and his integrity won him respect in Hollywood. Beyond acting, Garner lent his voice to narration and appeared in numerous commercials, always bringing credibility to the projects he touched. Later in his career, he explored voice acting, lending his iconic voice to animated films and documentaries. By the 1990s and 2000s, Garner had become a respected elder statesman of Hollywood. His performances in films like Murphy's Romance, 1985, which earned him an Academy Award nomination, and The Notebook, 2004, where he delivered a heartbreaking and tender portrayal of enduring love, proved that his talent only deepened with age. Garner's career diversification wasn't just about longevity. It was about artistry. He continually challenged himself, embraced new formats, and refused to be boxed in by Hollywood expectations. His career was a testament to resilience, adaptability, and an unwavering commitment to authenticity. At the heart of James Garner's work were themes that audiences found deeply relatable. His characters often embodied decency, humor, and quiet strength. Unlike the hardened anti-heroes or overly polished leading men of his era, Garner brought humanity to his roles. One recurring theme in his career was the idea of the reluctant hero. Whether as Brett Maverick, Jim Rockford, or even Hendley in The Great Escape, Garner's characters often found themselves in situations where they had to rise to the occasion, not because they sought glory, but because it was the right thing to do. This quality resonated with audiences who saw in him a reflection of real life, ordinary people navigating extraordinary circumstances. Garner's legacy also lies in his pioneering role in television. He proved that an actor could move seamlessly between television and film long before such crossovers were common. His influence can be seen in countless actors who followed, proving that great performances are not confined to one medium. Ultimately, James Garner's legacy is one of trust, warmth, and respect. He left behind a body of work that continues to inspire both audiences and fellow actors. His career proved that you don't need scandals, headlines, or extravagance to be remembered. You need authenticity, talent, and heart. Away from the screen, James Garner's life was marked by loyalty, humility, and quiet generosity. He married Lois Clark in 1956, and their marriage lasted until his death in 2014, a rare Hollywood love story that endured nearly 6 decades. Together, they raised 2 daughters, and Garner often credited his family with grounding him amid the chaos of Hollywood. Garner was also known for his strong political views. He was a proud liberal, unafraid to speak out on issues ranging from civil rights to health care. He marched in support of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during the civil rights movement and advocated for veterans drawing from his own military background, though he preferred a private life. Garner's sense of justice extended beyond his roles. He was passionate about fairness, honesty, and standing up for what he believed in. These qualities made him not only a respected actor, but also a respected citizen. In many ways, Garner's personal life mirrored his on-screen persona, steady, decent, and quietly heroic. He wasn't a man of flash or scandal. He was a man of integrity who valued family, community, and principle above all else. In his later years, James Garner continued to demonstrate why he remained one of America's most cherished actors. While many of his contemporaries faded from relevance, Garner stayed active, adapting to new roles that reflected his maturity and wisdom. His performance in Murphy's Romance, 1985, earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, a rare recognition for someone who often described himself as just a working actor. Later, his role in The Notebook, 2004, left audiences in tears, cementing his place in modern cinema as a storyteller who could still touch hearts across generations. On television, Garner made memorable returns in films and specials, including reprising his role as Brett Maverick in Maverick Reunions and Rockford Files TV movies. Each return reminded audiences of the timeless qualities that made him great: humor, warmth, and authenticity. Even as age and health issues slowed him down, Garner never lost his connection with fans. His final years were a celebration of a career that spanned over 5 decades, filled with performances that remained honest, heartfelt, and deeply human. James Garner's life and career were defined not by spectacle, but by authenticity. He was the rare Hollywood star who needed no embellishment. His work spoke for itself. From Brett Maverick to Jim Rockford to tender late-career roles, he showed that true strength lies in decency, humor, and humanity. When Clint Eastwood reflected on Garner's life, he emphasized not just his talent, but his character. Garner's story is one of resilience, integrity, and timeless appeal. A reminder that greatness in Hollywood doesn't always come from being larger than life, but from being unapologetically real. When James Garner passed away on July 19, 2014, at the age of 86, Hollywood lost one of its most genuine stars. The news was met with an outpouring of tributes from fans, colleagues, and fellow actors who admired not only his talent, but also his kindness and humility. Clint Eastwood, who had shared both a professional era and a personal friendship with Garner, remembered him as a man who never let fame change who he was, decent, strong, and always authentic. From Julie Andrews to Sally Field, co-stars. Shared memories of a man who elevated everyone around him. Many reflected on his professionalism, noting that Garner had an uncanny ability to make every scene look effortless. For his audiences, however, the loss felt deeply personal. Fans who had grown up watching Maverick or The Rockford Files felt as though they had lost a trusted companion, someone whose characters always seemed to reflect the best parts of everyday people. Garner's legacy was honored not only in Hollywood, but also among veterans, where his decorated military service remained a source of pride. He was remembered as a man who carried himself with dignity, whether in uniform or on a film set. Today, James Garner's influence continues through reruns of his television classics and the timeless performances captured on film. His work lives on not only as entertainment but as a reminder of what Hollywood can be at its best, authentic, heartfelt, and enduring.